What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to y'all with another video today. We're going to do another rebuilding. And today we're going to talk about the Charlotte Hornets, the Kemba Walker, one of the best players in the league, was an all-star this year, matched up with Dwight Howard, still one of the better players in the league. Not top 20, not top 15, not top 10 like he used to be, but he's still a starting center, and he had a rebound season personally to me in Charlotte. And to me, this is a confidence builder for him, knowing that he can still contribute to a good team, even though they didn't make the playoffs. And they had a lot of injuries this year too, especially to some of their main players. Um, they still was able to win 39 games. It kind of hurted them a little bit too because they don't get a top 5 pick. But at the but at the same time, can't have it all. And one thing I would definitely say, they in that weird space of being not good enough to win a championship, but good enough to make the playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference. And if they don't make another move, to me, this team is going to be good enough not to make the playoffs like they was this year. 39 games is so close to making the playoffs. Plus, they had a great coach to me and Steve Clifford, who left Charlotte to, and end up getting another job anyway. The last month he left, this month he already hired as a coach for an NBA team already. It show you how great of a coach Steve Clifford is. He was basically able to turn Al Jefferson into Al Jefferson Center as a starter into one of the best defensive teams. He was able to coach them to a couple playoff wins, and at the end of the day, he got the best out of the roster. Michael Jordan never put great talent around Steve Clifford. Michael Jordan never put championship talent around Steve Clifford. But one thing you can say also is they really didn't draft that good. Because if you look at this roster, majority of their best players on this roster, besides really um, Kemba Walker, is the only person that they drafted, but he just became an all-star. He never became a superstar. He never became a franchise guy. Even though he led the team to the playoffs, he wasn't a franchise guy. Nobody was going crazy over Kemba Walker. Nobody was saying that he was just an amazing player. He never even averaged over 25 points. And to get a player like Dwight Howard, that is a little surprising, considering that Dwight Howard signed that contract with Atlanta to make sure he gets traded. But I'm surprised that he would actually go to a place like Charlotte, even if he didn't have a choice, and try to stay and make the best of it, because they're not going to be winning anything soon. They've been one of the worst franchises. So at least you see that Michael Jordan is trying to be competitive. At least you see that he's trying to put a playoff team together for the best of his ability, about the best of his ability. But this team has been killed by bad drafting. And I just said that a couple minutes ago. They like the only player that they really had a good pick was literally Kimba. Every pick for the last 10 years has really, you know, not every, but like 90% of they drafts was bad. And on top of that, they got the 11th pick in this draft, which means they're going to be drafting a person that's either is who he is, or a guy that has potential but not going to contribute right away, or a guy that's polished and has some work to be done. None of that really helps them now, because there's really no seniors that can come in and contribute right away, and they got a couple freshmen that has untapped potential. But Charlotte is not a team that has been good at developing players. You see a lot of players over the last 10 years, they drafted high, they hit on Baron Davis, but missed on so many other players, and they haven't really been able to develop that many players homegrown that turned into all-stars and superstars that they drafted. So this is a bad organization. I'd rather have a team in Charlotte than not. But is you starting to see how hard it is to build a contender in a small market that people don't really want to go to or want to be a part of. But also, they're not taking advantage of drafting high in the lottery and developing talent, which really has hunted this series for so many years, that to the point where they haven't been able to make a real run or build a championship team since they've been in the NBA as an expansion team. And you had teams like Orlando that was able to get Shaq, teams like Miami that was able to get Alonzo Mourning and Dwayne Wade. they haven't been able to get that guy, and it has so many opportunities to get a guy of that caliber, and they miss majority of all the times. Yes, they made some playoffs. Yes, they won some games. Yes, they had a couple playoff seasons in a row. And like I said, Steve Clifford got the best out of this roster because none of this roster is championship caliber, but he got the best out of it. And he said, hey, at the end of the day, I did what I could do. I did my job. I'm respected by all the coaches around the league and the GMs. I'm getting the fuck out of here and going to another organization, trying my luck with somebody else. And, Charlotte shouldn't be that mad about it because I think personally they should blow this up. I don't believe that Kemba Walker is a championship starting point guard, but you can argue that it's other players that wasn't really at a championship level, like Jason Kidd and Derek Fisher, but they were starting. But at this era, you have a lot of point guards in the league, especially in the West. You have the Chris Pauls, the Currys, and the Westbrooks that if you do come to the finals, you have to be able to defend and go head to head with some of the best point guards in the league. And I don't think Kemba Walker is one of them. You can't even really trade him. There's not too many teams that will take on Kemba Walker because not too many teams at this point need starting point guards. And even if they do, it's a little bit of them in this draft. They can get them for 700,000, 1,000,000, 2,700,000, and develop them and then pay them later. But they can still build a roster around these players because they on cheap salary. Kemba Walker is on one of the better contracts because he has been an all-star and he's only making $12 million a season, which really isn't that much for an all-star, especially compared to the caps that other players have been able to get, like Allen Crabbe and Miles Goff. A lot of these other players got paid more than Kimba, and he's obviously a better player than those players, but he picked the wrong time to sign the contract extension too. So it's unfortunate, but at the same time, Kimba did take a pay cut, and they still haven't been able to really put talent around him. And I think Kimba will have to take a more of a six-man role on a great team if you really want to contend for a championship. Because, like I said, there's not too many contenders that need. I don't even know any contenders, probably besides the Cavs, that really need a point guard at that position that he can start and contribute to a championship team. I don't really know none besides the Cavs, honestly. So I don't really know what Kimba can go. I don't really know what a $12 million salary, what you can really get for Kimba. Can you just get a first round pick? That's not really that much for a guy that's an all star. And Jordan said, I'm not trading him unless I get a star in return. It's not too many stars that's willing to go to Charlotte, and it's not too many stars that you can trade for Kimba because they make significantly more money, and I'd rather keep them. The only reason why I trade a star for a star is if my star going to leave and I can get somebody on a long-term contract like Kimba. Other than that, I'm not doing it. And then they still make so much money, more money than he do. It's going to be hard to even out the trade at the end of the day, for the Hornets. So, um, they're in a sticky situation. Obviously, this pick means a lot to this franchise, especially if they're going to try to continue to compete with this roster. I think Miles Bridges will be nice for them, giving them a shooting guard that can do a lot of different things in this draft, especially because you not get that much out of Michael Kidd Gilchrist. He was a bust. You're not really getting enough out of Jeremy Lamb to warrant the contract that he's making. Um, which is let me check. Jeremy Lamb is making $7 million. That's not that bad, but he's not. He's 25 years old, and he has had better seasons as he got more minutes. But he's definitely not a star potential player. And honestly, they're going to have to package some of these players and try to get higher in the draft. They're going to have to package some of these players and just rebuild. They're going in the future of mediocrity. And you rather have a top five number one pick potentially than just to continue to do good enough because they're not going to be winning a championship with or without Kimba. So one thing I will say is blow it up. Um, if you can't get nothing but a first overall pick for a lot of these players, I don't even know how you can even get rid of a player like Nicholas Batum because his contract is so bad. And you probably going to have to put stuff on that contract to get rid of it, like top 10 picks. because you got Nicholas Batum making more than Kimba. He's 29 years old, making 22 million. That's ridiculous. He making almost double of what Kimba's making, and Kimba's a significantly better player, and he plays more games in general because Nicholas Batum always has some type of damn injury. So if I was the Charlotte Hornets, don't go after no free agents because you're already cap strapped with Kimba, Dwight, and Jeremy Lamb and Kimba Walker. You're not going to be able to sign anybody. Um, Try to draft a guy like Miles Bridges or that has potential, and even if he don't have a high ceiling, just take the best talent available. Whether that's Mikal Bridges, who they really do need a shooting guard that can shoot the three, because Gilchrist can't do that, and Lamb doesn't do it consistent enough over an 82 game season. And he has better defense. He has better potential at that, at that spot. And he's 6'7", 210. Kevin Knox is a guy that has a lot of potential. I would definitely like to, have him on my roster, especially at that number 11 pick. You still have, the guy out of Kentucky, the SHAI guy. You can get a guy like Miles Bridges, which you know what you're going to get, like they did with Komeski. But nobody to me in that 11 to 20 spot is really going to change your franchise so dramatically in right away, I should say. So if you even draft a guy with potential, that still hurts you for the present and the future, because if they're not ready to give you help now, that's more years of wasting Kimba, more years of being mediocre, and more years of not getting a top 5, top 10 pick. With you will need, especially in Charlotte, a place that you can't really get free agents, you will need that type of talent to get you to that championship level. But like I said, can you really trust them because they haven't really been able to do it now? Maybe they wise up. Maybe they get some new personnel, some new scouts, and finally get that guy. Maybe even in this draft, they maybe trade up. They maybe, take a gamble on somebody with high potential and they pay off, kind of like what they did with Mitchell, kind of like what they did with Giannis. We don't know. I don't know what's in Michael Jordan's head, but I know I will definitely blow this team up and try to accumulate as much picks as I can and try to, go one more chance at building through the draft. I know it's going to hurt them salary wise, and I know it's going to hurt them, in the pockets because they're not going to really be selling that many tickets. And a lot of people ain't going to be coming to see the games, and they don't get the playoff revenue. But at the same time, what's the point of being the first round exit? What's the point of holding on to Kimba when he's going into the end of his prime? I mean, his prime, and you're not really having the talent around him to really compete. You're in an awkward situation, and to me, the best thing to do is rebuild and try to, get a superstar potentially, or even try to get that number one pick. I don't really feel happy that I'm saying that, but that's the only real way they can get somebody to come to Charlotte is through the draft. And if they're not doing that, it's going to be very difficult. Check out my other videos on my channel. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. I'm Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.